I'm Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guy Segment Show. Also today in this segment, I'm at Lauritzen Gardens and Kenefic Park in Omaha, Nebraska. Kenefic Park wasn't originally located here. This place was when Omaha's Botanical Gardens grand opening happened. The locomotives at Kenefic Park were originally located near Abbott Drive, just near the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge. And the Big Boy and Centennial locos were stored in a fence in the middle of the rail yard just by the Durham Museum. And they have been stored in the fence till 2005, then moved to the hill here at Lauritzen Gardens. And they were moved up the hill to be put on their new spots by bulldozers and heavy load moving equipment, and had to get those locos up the hill, and it was kind of tough to get the Big Boy up the hill as it was the heaviest piece to get up there. They were moved down Bancroft Street and went up the hill. Wish I could have seen that, but never did though. The Big Boy and DDA 40X was going to be exhibits at Florence Depot Museum, but never, which is close by the Mormon Bridge that crosses the Missouri River and located on 30th and McKinley Street parking lot is on 30th Street off McKinley Street, and the interstate goes by over the Mormon Bridge is I-680. Also, the locos never got put there, but they're just got put up on the hill at the new Kenefic Park. Also, Kenefic Park honors a former Union Pacific worker, John Kennedy, and also the Rose Garden at Lauritzen Gardens has the Garden Railroad as well. You see right here, this is a map. This is a map of the Transcontinental Road, ribbon of steel. This tells you how the Pacific and Central Pacific put their lines, and also they go from east to west. Started here in Omaha, Nebraska. Started in Sacramento, California, and Central Pacific went through Nevada, Nebraska, Union Pacific, not all of Colorado, but Ohio. They met here in Detroit, Utah, May 10, 1869. This is a good great like this here. What you see right here is it's a mural, and also as you're taking this curve, it's it means you're just on your way up to the Kenefic Park spot. The new Kenefic Park is up here, so this mural I think was put here when the new Kenefic Park was put up here back in 2005. So let me show you. You see right here is that this is a grouping of people. So this sign says Cheap Farms, Homes, Line of the Union Pacific Railroad, the Great Transcontinental Road from Omaha to the Pacific Ocean, land grant direct from the government of 12 million acres of was a working train station. That's where the parking lot was just angled back in the old days. And also, that's what it looked like in the past till it was becoming different. So I'm just going to read this. Los Angeles architect Gilbert Stanley Underwood created one of the finest Art Deco buildings in America in 1931 with his design for Omaha's Union Station, now home to the Durham Western Heritage Museum, but now named the Durham Museum. Omaha was the halfway point for most of the cross-country travelers, and hundreds of workers make sure those travelers remembered their stop at the third busiest rail center in the United States. What you see right here is a carving of some men with tools, a pick, some kind of hammer, I'm not sure about. This picture is interesting. And also, let's read right here. 1905, track workers created one of Omaha's most recognized geographic features, the elevated railroad that now parallels Interstate 80 between 32nd and 108th Streets. The ridge floodplains, the middle pavilion creeks. Track crew built massive wooden trestles from bluff to bluff, then dumped train loads of dirt until the trestles were completely buried. What you see here is a carving of a trestle bridge, and right here this is a picture of a big boy, and that's Big Boy 4023, and that's the one here at Kenefic Park. So let's read what this says in white. Modern day Omaha and his Omaha team of mechanical engineers modified standard steam locomotive designs to create machines like the Big Boy that were unmatched in size, power, and speed. Also, right here, this is a carving of what looks like a ski lift from the old days. Picture of this ski lift. So let's be rated. Its current tested is prototype on Omaha's street prior to sending the final design to Union Pacific Sun Valley Resort in Idaho, where skiers for the first time could ride to the top of the mountain instead of holding to a tow rope. This is a carving line. Omaha Freight House at the 8th and Jones Street. Today, 1,000 dispatchers control train movements across 23 states. Dispatching center and the Freight House. Okay, we're here at the Kenefic Park spot. Engine over there, that's the Big Boy. Union Pacific 4023 was built by Alco in Schenectady, New York by American Locomotive Company, also known as Alco, in 1944, and is the 727 80th steam locomotive in that order, and it's a 4884 big boy type steam locomotive, and this locomotive is known as Big Boy, and the locomotives class is 48842, and it's a sole survivor of this second class Big Boy, and it's one of 8 surviving Big Boys. The Big Boys are one of the one of the articulated steam locomotives built. The Big Boy is known to be the largest steam locomotive in the world. And when Big Boy 4000 rolled out of the factory in Schenectady, New York, one guy climbed on the pilot deck and chalked on the smokestack door and wrote Big Boy on it. And that's how these locomotives got that name Big Boy. Also, the Big Boys ran between Cheyenne, Wyoming and Ogden, Utah. 4023 hauled freight up Sherman Hill in Wyoming when it was operating. Then 4023 was retired and stored in Cheyenne, Wyoming in the Roundhouse. And also Union Pacific Challenger 3985, which is an articulated locomotive as well, had been given parts from 4023. Then 4023 was moved to here in Omaha, Nebraska, where the original Kenefic Park used to be, then stored in the fence in the rail yard outside the Durham Museum till 2005. It was time for 4023 to move up here to here, and took days to get it out of the rail yard, and it was kind of tough to get 4023 up to 10th Street to Bancroft Street, but 4023 finally reached the final resting point, and then 4023's tender was placed behind once 4023 was set down right down in this spot. Also, 4023 was then shoved up the hill, and it was almost too difficult to get it up the hill, so a bulldozer had to shove it up the hill, and one machine from the front, or maybe there were 2. Also, the locomotive itself made it to the top of the hill. Also, 4023 arrived to this spot safely. Also, 4023 is one of 8 surviving Big Boys left in the world today. Union Pacific 6900 was built by Electro Division and Motor Division in 1969 and is the 34,526th diesel built by that factory, I believe. And it's a DDA 40X type and also known as a Centennial. Union Pacific 6900 is the first DDA 40X, also known as Centennial, ever built for the Union Pacific Railroad and is one of 47 that were built and is one of 13 left surviving today. Also, Union Pacific 6900 worked as a freight locomotive on the Union Pacific Railroad, then was retired and then was on display at Kenefic Park till the original Kenefic Park got destroyed, then the Quest Center, but now the CenturyLink Center was built there. And Union Pacific 6900 got stored out in the fence outside the Durham Museum behind Union Pacific Big Boy 4023. Also in 2005, 6900 was repainted over in Council Bluffs, then back in the fence till then moved to the new Kenefic Park, as this is the 6900's final resting spot. Also, 6900 is still one of 13 DDA 40Xs left in the world today. Okay, this is the Garden Railroad, and also, if you're ever wondering where it is at Lauritzen, it is at the Rose Garden, so you see that right there. You must follow the black path, which is the tram path, and the pedestrian path. Also, it's got lots of tracks. It's also basically looks like it's got replicas of Omaha buildings. So, and this was completed like in 2007. The Low Park was completed like I think in 2009 or 8. And I just like how they have it well. So let me show you around. What's right here? This is the depot, and this claims to be Henry Dorley's Omaha Depot, and I believe, and this looks like the bridge that also looks like what's over the pond, where you can see that it looks like, even though the tunnel bridge where you can feed the monkeys or fish at the pond at Henry Dorley, except it doesn't have any railroad tracks that goes through it, but it looks like it though. So let's follow the tracks. Excuse me. And I believe that's the Durham Museum. And also one train goes back and forth on it sometimes. Oh, and that trolley, that's 1014 Omaha and Council Bluffs Railway 1014. It's the replica of the trolley that is at the Durham Museum, except it's not, it was not built like that. And that does look like the Durham Museum a little, but maybe it's not. I wonder, no, it's not the Durham Museum. I was wrong. It looks like some building in Omaha. I believe it's the courthouse. Or maybe whatever it could be. And I wonder what this building could be. This is the Union Pacific Center, of course. And that's the Woodman Tower right there. And that looks like the First National Tower building. And that looks like the Union Pacific Shops. The old Union Pacific Shops in Omaha. Or what could it be? I wonder what that building could be. Okay, so down there, that's the grain elevator. It's like, I think it's the one that's by the interstate. And I believe all these buildings on this Garden Railroad is like tree carved buildings. You could see this building right here. That's actually the Union Station, which is the Durham Museum. And also, normally the tracks are behind it. And it's just well detailed on how it looks. This is actually the Omaha Zoo's Omaha Depot. And you could see that's the water tower, because that's how you can tell by the way it is. Also, that looks kind of like Henry Dorley's Desert Dome, which it looks like. And all these trestle bridges, these bridges are made of wood. And it just basically looks like a lot of bridges. So let's walk around. And that looks like a church, which is St. Cecilia Cathedral. And you can see lots of trains here just coming around.